unsewing tool. What? The unsewing tool? Seriously? Yes. This, my friends, is your best friend in the whole wide world of quilting. Okay, I use this tool more than any other tool in all of my quilting life, and that includes my sewing machine. It is called the unsewing tool, the seam ripper. As you can see over here, I have a variety of different kinds of seam rippers. Some work better than the others, and some I love more than others. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, and you can see them at work as I rip open a couple of seams in my fabrics here. What a sad thing to rip them up. I have ripped half of quilts up. I have ripped, oh my goodness, I have ripped so many things, but that's for another sad day, and I'm sure that you don't want to hear about it. All right, back to the seam rippers. Okay, this one has got a bit of a hook on it. It's actually a sharp blade, and so you kind of just get in there and you can rip the seams. I'm not a huge fan of this particular one because I'm scared that I'm actually going to rip and slice open my fabric because it is that sharp. The next one that I have, it's called Seam Fix. There's a couple of reasons why I actually really like this seam ripper. For one, it's got these rubber, almost looks like a honey dipper on the end. This is rubber, and this is rubber on that side too. Then the seam ripper's on the inside. So the correct way to actually use this seam ripper would be to hold the bottom, which is the little red piece, down. You get it inside the seam, and you can just gently push away from you, and it will rip open your seam for you. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but you can actually hear the thread ripping the thing apart. Okay, so what I did was I stuck it in on the bottom. I managed to get myself a little bit of space here, so now I have a little bit of space to get in. I put this at the bottom, and then I just gently push away from myself, and it just rips open the seam just like this. Okay, now I have all this thread that's left over on the top and on the bottom. The best thing about this particular seam ripper is these rubber pieces that will then go in and remove all the excess thread. All I have to do is this, and it picks up all the thread, and I'm not left with little pieces sticking up when I sew my seam again. So I really like it for that reason. See, there's another little piece. I'm just gonna pull it off here, and it's stuck to the bottom. So for that reason, I really like this particular seam ripper. I use it quite extensively. Like I mentioned before, I use it quite extensively in my sewing repertoire. So needless to say, I have a few of them. This one has also got a rubber piece at the bottom, and this one is made of wood. This one was at a craft sale that my son and daughter-in-law bought for me, so I was very thankful for them. This one's a cheapy one. It's great. It's plastic. It's not very heavy in your hand. They tend to break. The actual metal piece on it actually breaks sometimes, and so I like the little bit more. I will be willing to pay a little bit more to get these. These range about $5 to $7 to buy a nice seam ripper, and they're definitely worth their money because when you're sitting and unpicking for hours and your hands are all sore and everything like that, it is nice to have a nice comfortable seam ripper in your hand to do the job. The other thing I wanted to tell you about it was that you can feel when they're starting to get dull and they're not getting them getting through the thread anymore. just discard it. Do yourself the favor, discard it, go and buy yourself a new one. I probably have about, like my scissors, I probably have about 15 of them scattered throughout my sewing studio because my hands and my brain, they're not always coordinated, unfortunately, and I tend to not, I'm not able to find them when I need them, and so yeah, I have them scattered throughout so I can use them when I need them. All right, thank you so much.